If a man in his 40s is not willing to commit because he's working on himself, then he will be working on himself in his 50s and 60s. So do not waste your time on him. If someone's never been married at least once by the age of 40, or never even lived with a lady till now, then it's a huge red flag. It's not because they didn't find the right lady, it's because they're looking for this perfect lady that does not exist.
All I gotta say, if you are dating a man in his 40s and he is divorced, the 3-month rule does not apply. You need a 6-month rule. For them, it's really around the 6th month mark that the mask falls off. That's when you see some crazy shit. Because let me tell you something, do not be fooled. They are the most immature men I have dated. By immature, I mean, might all have had personality disorders. Also, if they played a sport, run. If they played any professional sport, run for your fucking life. Pray for us.
22-year-old mistress to a 40-year-old politician. He keeps our relationship private, but he's fully provides for me and takes care of me. That's a good arrangement. Start saving all your money. Start your own business. Have him invest because he ain't leaving whoever he's married to. Just keep stacking that money because as soon as you hit a certain age, he's going to replace you. I don't know if that's going to be true, but save. Start your own business. Use his money to boost you to that next level because you might not want to stay in that relationship. You might meet someone you actually like. And you might need to make an exit. So save, invest. Start your own business. Don't buy no stupid stuff. I'd rather start a business than have, some Louis Vuitton boots and purses that are going to be out of style in 1 year. I could have about 5 online businesses. Please do that. And you go buy your Louis Vuitton purses when your money is tripled and doubled. Okay? That's what a good man will do. You guys, I'm telling you. They will allow you the space, even if they're doing wrong themselves. A provider man, even if he's doing wrong himself, will still push you to that next level and have your best interest in mind. Even though he's married and got a mistress, you can still win. You see? So thank you, married politician dude, for helping the 22-year-old chick become an entrepreneur. Because that's what you're going to be, right? You better go start your own business, okay? Believe me, an online business, you don't even have to leave your house. All you got to do is throw some money and invest in something, flip it, and make it double and double, okay? It's very easy nowadays.
These are the most annoying things that people tell me as a single 30-year-old.
Starting off strong, learn to be content in your singleness. This is a common Christian phrase.
Newsflash, I'm not content!
It's not enjoyable. I'm a yapper. I want somebody to come home and yap to. My mom is starting to ignore my calls. I need somebody at home who's contractually obligated to listen to me yap. The other one, love will come when you least expect it. Cheryl, I have pretty much lost all hope. I no longer expect it. What I expect is to die alone. I have had this expectation for the last 2 years. And I'm starting to think that you're wrong about this one. This one's for my married friends of like, oh, don't rush into marriage. Don't rush into a relationship. Enjoy all of it. I miss my peace. I'm sorry that you're miserable. I'm sorry you hate the person you married. That's not my journey. Because who I marry, I plan on really liking them forever. You're young. You're so young. You have all the time in the world. No, I don't. I'm 30. I'm so young. Okay, I date somebody. When do you expect me to marry them? I start dating somebody today. We get married a year from now. And then what? We want to be married in our marital bliss for like 2 years. Then we want to try to have a baby. I'm already in my mid-30s by the time we start talking about having babies. If I'll get married exactly 1 year from today and then wait 2 years to enjoy my marital bliss with my husband. I'm not saying I'm old, but I'm not young. 30's not young. And I would really appreciate it if y'all stop trying to gaslight me into thinking that it is. And then this is for all my single male friends. Oh, Holly, you'll find someone. You're so this, you're so that. If I'm so that, Todd, I'm so this. Why don't you want me? I'm actually not that mad about that. Like, if you're my friend and you're saying this, you don't need to ask me out. Unless you know who you are, unless.
Let's have a very vulnerable 1-minute chat and then I will go back to posting normal happy content. I am 30 years old. I'm very single. I'm happy being single. I'm gonna cry. I have 0 people on my radar. I'm not interested in dating at the moment. I need to heal myself. But what's so frustrating is that everyone wants to move my life along faster than I do. And by that, I mean, it's horrible that I feel like I can't talk to anyone and mention a man's name in a conversation without them assuming that we're talking, that we're dating, that I like them, that they're anything more than just my friend. It's so frustrating. You can see it on their face, and they don't ask a question, they just look at you. You can hear it in their voice. They either like get quiet and they wait for you to give them more information, or the way that they ask their questions changes. I'm not entertainment. My life is not entertainment for you. I am literally just living my life and having friends and having so much fun. And when God brings a man into my life that I'm supposed to be with forever, you'll know. I'll tell you. I'll be excited about them. But until then, please stop assuming that everything in my life has to do with a man, because it doesn't. I didn't expect to cry on the internet today. If that is something that you're also going through, I see you. And I'm sorry, because it's frustrating. Anyway, love you guys.
I think the hardest thing about being single in your later 20s is not wasting your own time. Because when you're younger, it is a lot easier to say yes to dates, and you're still trying to figure out what you want and what you're looking for. If someone asks you out, sure, let's go on a date. Or to continue dating someone, even if you're not really sure about it. As you get older, with time and experience, you realize more of what it is that you want and need and are looking for, and it's much quicker to gauge. You become more intentional with your time. Because I'm being more intentional with my time, I'm going on less dates. At the same time, because I'm getting older, I'm like, well, I should be going on more dates because I should be out here trying to find someone. Those two conflicting things are kind of hard to balance. I don't want to waste my time or anyone else's, but I also know that I should be putting...
I've been single now for almost a year and a half, and something I realized that has happened to me, I feel like a teenaged woman. I was with my ex-fiance for 10 years, and we started dating when I was 21, and he broke up with me only a few days before my 31st birthday. And fast forward, I've been living in New York almost 1 year, and there's this side of me that is very much the 30-year-old. I feel so confident in my work and my point of view and what I want out of life. I feel confident in my body and just can really stand in my authenticity in a way I couldn't in my 20s. And then there's this other side of me that feels completely feral, like I did right before I turned 21, where I'm just adventurous and reckless and want to live my life to the fullest. I feel like a teenaged woman. I feel like a lot of young women rush themselves to grow up. Like I was constantly wanting to prove my maturity in my 20s. But now in my 30s, post broken off engagement, having my 20s be a wash of cosplaying a wifey, and that's really what I wanted. I was not interested in partying. I was very independent still, had tons of friends, still would go out, but now living alone in New York City as a single girl, I'm crazy. I'm a teenage woman. I can stay out till 3 a.m, but then also know exactly what I want and set really strong boundaries with friends and men. So I'm just frozen. I'm frozen as like this early 20s teenage version of me, and then the person I am now, like this confident woman who is proud of how much she has survived and fought to have the life that she has.
Hi darlings, let's talk about being nearly 30 but definitely being single. If you are new to my page, my TikTok, my name's Zoe, I'm 29 and I'm turning 30 in July, and I am single. I have been single now for 3 years. There was a little something in between, but honestly at this point it doesn't even count. I have kind of done my life a little bit backwards. Around 25 years old, I've been in a really long-term relationship. I bought a house with this guy, totally envisaged being together for the rest of our lives. Literally, when we bought our house, there was a nursery at the end of the road and we talked about sending our theoretical future children there. So this was very serious. But I had like a little bit of a midlife crisis. I think I felt like I was settling down way too early and way too young, and I just hadn't lived my life yet. We broke up. So I did have another relationship after that was very toxic and emotionally abusive. That's another story for another day. We now are where we are now, which is
pretty much 3 years single and approaching 30 this summer. There is this insane societal pressure that you feel from being a little bit older in your 20s and not being in a relationship, and this has even come from my own mum. I literally had her say things to me recently like, am I being too picky? No. Let me just say there's nothing out there to be picky about. Thank you very much. She's asked if I've considered freezing my eggs. And she's then also asked, would I consider raising a baby alone if I didn't eventually find a partner? Now, these things are incredibly problematic, and I'm not even gonna make excuses for my mum, but I do think this is also a little bit of a generational thing. She had me 10 days after her 30th birthday. Me thinking about being in her position now absolutely terrifies me, and that's obviously wasn't what my path was meant to be. Societal pressure to be 30 and still like left on the bench is just really bizarre to me, because my opinion of it, like she said when I was, am I being too picky? No, like I would think if it was my daughter, she has standards. There's certain things that she won't tolerate in a relationship. There are certain levels of things that she knows she can give herself. She doesn't actually need a man to give them to her. For me personally, like being in a relationship isn't the be all and end all in my life. I have so many other things in my life that make me happy, and being in a relationship isn't one of them. Right now I am at that stage where I do feel very content being alone. I honestly can't even envisage myself with somebody in my life at this point. Even if I start chatting to someone and, you know, your mind kind of lets you run away a little bit and think like, oh my God, we could get in a relationship, we could do this, we could do that. I'm really struggling to see that for me right now. Like, I really can't picture myself being with somebody. And part of me think that's obviously a good thing. But at the same time, I'm thinking like, am I a little bit broken? Am I at the point in my life where I've just kind of, I guess, maybe worried myself from being alone and also being burnt, that I just have put up blockers because I just find it easier to be on my own and reduce my likelihood of being hurt? Now, please don't get me wrong. I definitely don't feel positive about being on my own all the time. I actually had an experience at my stepsister's wedding. This was a few years ago, pretty much when I first became single as to where I still am today. And it was when it was the first dance song, and I've never dreaded it more in my life. But the reality was honestly so much worse than I actually thought it would be. Obviously, the couple went onto the dance floor, did their dance, and it gets to that bit where they invite everyone else onto the dance floor. And I'm not even joking, I looked around and every single person was in a couple, and it was just me stood at the side. I was actually with like a little kid who was like a cousin of someone else in the family, and she was stood next to me kind of right at the beginning, and I was like, oh, like, let's go and dance together. Like, she was like 4 or something, and even she burst into tears, and I was like, brilliant. I stood there alone, literally burst into tears, and took myself to the bathroom to kind of sort myself out. It's moments like that where kind of like love and relationships and that kind of stuff is really forced in your face that can actually be quite hard. It's a wedding, like I expected that, but I don't think I expected it to hurt as much as it did. And that's why I often think as well, like, winter time is pretty difficult. Again, everyone's kind of cozying down and doing cute things with their partner. I am very blessed, and I do have a pretty good group of single girlfriends around me. It wasn't always the case. I am incredibly lucky that the friends of mine that are in relationships aren't the kind of girls that will only ever do something with their partner. They do make time and prioritize seeing their friends as well. But I have actually been on the other side at other points in my life where it felt like everyone else around me was settling down. No one wanted to do anything social anymore. And I was like, great, I'll just stay in by myself. The thing is, I know that I'm very lucky now. And I think I just wanted to make this video to talk to the people that maybe aren't as lucky as me and just tell you that you're not alone. And even though it might feel like it, you're truly not. There are so many other women like us. We're not settling for anything. We're waiting for the right person. And to be perfectly honest, if it takes me a little bit more time than everyone else, then that doesn't bother me, truly. I would rather be single now, having my best life when I'm 29, 30, 31, 32, and find my person a little bit later on, and then they're going to be my person for the rest of my life. So why does it matter? You are not alone. You are so worthy of love, and we can stick in this together.